This is the Park Hotel, designed by the Hungarian architect Laszlo Hudek in the early 1930s. For 20 years, it was the tallest building in Asia and was declared to be the city's 0 point, its geographical center. Sung Mei-ling made a phone call from here to Eleanor Roosevelt, the wife of the American president. To diplomats, the geopolitical distance from Shanghai to Washington was a matter of great importance. But who, if anybody, cared about the distance from Shanghai to Beijing, the capital of the Red Base area? Well, some people did, but they were a rather special group. In 1932, the Provisional Party Center, as the leadership was then known, finally made the move from Shanghai to Beijing, 900 kilometers to the south. It marked a turning point. The party leadership had left the city and rebased in the countryside. But Shanghai's role wasn't over. At 99 Xinqiang Road, for example, not far from the construction site where the Park Hotel was being built, was the site of the party's clandestine printing press, producing pamphlets and tracts for distribution all over China. The noise of the building site helped drown out the sound of the printing works. The Kuomintang imposed strict censorship, and the communist journals and books had to be published and disseminated secretly. Mao Zedong once wrote that the Chinese Revolution grew not only out of the barrels of guns, but also out of the barrels of pens. Even after the Central Committee moved to Beijing, Shanghai remained an indispensable center for party propaganda work. The central base area in Jiangxi lacked electricity, modern printing presses, and paper supplies, and the smaller base areas had even less. In November 1927, Mao's younger brother Zemin was sent from Changsha to Shanghai to help rebuild the party's clandestine printing operations after the destruction caused by the April coup. He knew the city well and had a solid network of friends there, having helped run progressive bookstores for the Shanghai Regional Party organization during the period of CCP Kuomintang cooperation 2 or 3 years earlier. This manuscript in Mao Zemin's calligraphy was discovered in the Soviet archives in Moscow. In it, he relates how one day he was working at the press when a group of men in plain clothes barged in and started questioning him. They were detectives from the concession police, known in Shanghai dialect as rubbernecks. When they couldn't find anything compromising, they kidnapped him, hoping to extract a ransom. The only thing to do, he decided, was to keep calm and try to trick them. And he did. After a day and a night of negotiations, Mao Zemin persuaded his abductors to accept just $800 instead of the 10,000 they'd been asking for, which was as much as the whole printing works was worth. He and a dozen workers were released, and the press was left intact. The area around the Park Hotel was a prosperous, bustling business district. Nearby was a furniture store owned by Qin Bang Li, the younger brother of Qin Bang Xian, better known as Bo Gu. In 1931, at the age of 24, Bo had been appointed acting party leader. After Gu Shenjiang's treason in April of that year, Bo Gu had recommended his brother to Chen Yun, who'd succeeded Zhou Enlai as head of the Special Operations Section. Qin Bang Li had worked for several years as a trainee in an old-style Chinese bank. He had a photographic memory for numbers and was a talented businessman. Chen Yun decided to take a risk and entrusted him with 2 gold taels, with which he was to open a store to service the party's secret treasury. Chen Yun's gamble paid off. Qin Bang Li shipped in rice from his hometown of Wuxi, which he sold at a tidy profit. With that, he opened the furniture store, and then a souvenir shop, a grocery store and a pharmacy. Although the commercial regulations in Shanghai were quite loose, you had to have a guarantee in order to open a new business. Bang Li secretly used his first store to guarantee the rent of the second to guarantee the third, and so on. Before long, under his management, all the businesses were thriving. Every store served as a clandestine supply station for the party, and also as a safe house. In a crisis, confidential documents could be hidden in the furniture store, while funds for the provision of scarce supplies to the base area in Jiangxi were concealed in the accounts of the souvenir shop. Goods that were unobtainable in the base area, like salt and medicines, cloth and radio equipment, were sent there under the pretext of being normal trade with towns in neighboring provinces. Chiang Kai-shek regarded the Communist Party as a thorn in his flesh. His armies attacked the central base area no fewer than 5 times. Yet miraculously, the secret communications route linking it to Shanghai continued to function until the base itself was overrun in 1934. By then, with Qin Bangli's help, a new Comintern representative, a hefty, blue-eyed German named Otto Braun, had been sent to Jiangxi to act as the party's military advisor. It turned out to be not a good idea. The conventional military tactics which Braun advocated contributed to the loss of the base area not long after his arrival. In 1934, this was the newest and grandest landmark in what Westerners then called the Paris of the East. It had opened its doors for business that December. 6 weeks earlier, the Red Army in Jiangxi had set out from Yudu on what was described at first as a strategic transfer, but would become better known later as the Long March. 15 more years would pass, and Shanghai citizens woke up one morning to find young Red Army soldiers sleeping here on the pavements in front of this hotel. But that marked the beginning of a very different era.